to another pop-up masterclass. Woo, 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 woo. I'm Matthew Reinhardt, Professor Matthew Reinhardt to you. Today, we're gonna do another pop-up masterclass, and it's going to be dinosaur related. This is the Spanish version of my book, Encyclopedia Prehistorica, Dinosaurs. And there'll be links down below if you wanna look for it. Shameless promotion. Today, we're going to make a dinosaur pop-up to go along with our Dinosaur Month, and I'm gonna teach you all how to make a dinosaur like this Brachiosaurus that gets really tall. And it's really a cool pop in that it's very, in a lot of ways, simple. There's a lot of V-folds, they're very wide V-folds, you can see them from behind. But then there's some other weird stuff that's interesting. There's like layers that are happening back here. See for the tail to swing in and out. And this one's older, so sometimes it gets caught. And then we have this really cool arm here that pushes up this pivot. See how it pivots up the neck. So that's one more thing that we're gonna do. We're gonna learn that pivot. We're gonna make that pivot in there. I've been working on a lot of those in some future upcoming projects, which I can't talk about. Anyways, so your professor, Matthew Reinhardt, that's me. We are gonna learn about how to make this Brachiosaurus pop-up. And you could turn it into any sort of big sauropod dinosaur. You could turn it into a dragon. You could turn it into all kinds of different things. You could turn it into anything that has like maybe even a crane. So, should we get started? Should we get started making our Brachiosaurus pop? Let's do it. All right, very quickly before we get started, I'm gonna start to talk about some of the mechanisms going on in this one so that we can use them. We'll refer back, but I just wanna have to keep pulling back and forth with this book because it's enormous. All right, like I said earlier, there's this big, wide V-fold. We might make our V-fold a little less wide because when you make a wide V-fold, it takes a while for the thing to stand up. And we want ours to stand up a little faster. So we're gonna make the V just a little narrower. But there are V-folds here. These are very wide V's here, which are the legs. So they kind of angle outwards, which is kind of nice. I like that because if you've ever seen a Brachiosaurus, we haven't seen a living one, but if you've ever seen a Brachiosaurus, they have really long front legs as compared to the back legs. So I really loved making that. So there's two wide V's. We look here, let's look from the top. See this tail, the way it swings out? It swings out, and it's actually reacting off of this surface of the V-fold. So we're gonna make a layer in there for our tail. And then, like I said earlier, there's sort of a pulley pivot that's kind of being pushed. See this part right here, and it's pushing this up. So it starts out down here, and then as it moves, and this pushes through, and you'll notice this kind of has a sleeve that goes through here. This pushes up the neck. So that's really, really nice. And if we make our V a little less wide, this will all happen faster. So I'm excited about seeing if that's gonna work. So should we make this together? Should we get our cardstock? So what do we need for this? And there's no template for this. This is just by hand. We're gonna need, double stick tape, regular tape, and scissors, different color cardstock, just because I want you all to see what the pieces look like. And sometimes when it's all white, it's difficult. You need some sort of measuring tool, straight edge like this. And I may use a craft knife. I may. Pencil, all that sort of stuff. You ready to get started? Whee, let's go. All right, now I think I'm going to make ours a little smaller, our pop-up. So we're gonna start with our base page with some nice cardstock here. We're gonna fold it in half. More than likely, I'm gonna need to make this base page bigger than this. And you know what I'm gonna do? I always do this for our pop-up master classes. I like to make the line so that you can see it down the center. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take some scrap, because I've got so much of it, like right here. And we're gonna just make our base page just a little bigger so we have enough space for our Brachiosaurus, because sauropods, let's just face it, they need a lot of space. They are the definition of big boned, right? When I think back about creating that book, Encyclopedia Prehistorica, it's a classic. It's a classic. And it was at a time when we could put a lot more in a pop-up book because it costs less, of course, to manufacture and everything. Like I remember at the time, I didn't even know what I was doing. And I was making that book, and I felt like I was fumbling through all the engineering along the way. But I figured it out. Talk about faking it till I made it. Boy, did I fake that one. But you know, when you're young and you're starting to learn how to design things, you just go with whatever feels right. And it felt right. And because I love dinosaurs so much, I had so much passion going into it. I think it shows in the final product. So, okay, I just added some paper to the side here and here, just so we would have a bigger base page to work. All right, first I want to make a big V-fold up here. I'm not going to make it as wide as the other one, but it's still going to be pretty wide. So I'm going to take a piece of colored cardstock and I'm going to put a big, it's not going to be a 90-degree angle, but it will be bigger. And I'm going to make a big bump. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to widen. This would be the V-fold, but it's a little too narrow. So I'm just going to use here's what happens. I take a tool like this and I throw it when I'm done, which is not very safe. Please don't do that. And I get it out of the way, out of the screen, and then I forget where I put it. Okay, that seems like, ooh, that's really, I don't know if that's too wide. That's too wide, I think. See, here's the issue. Here's why I keep changing this. The wider the V, more movement. It'll move from beginning to end. There's a wider arc of movement. However, it takes longer for that wide V to open. So, I'll have to open the page so much more for it to actually move into place. Whereas if it's a little narrower, it moves into place quicker. The wider the V, the longer it takes for that movement to happen. And you will also get more movement, but people don't always open the book all the way. So here's a secret. You kind of have to think about it like this. How much do you think most people are really going to open that page? Not everybody will, because I see people all the time open books and they go like this. Oh, I love that pop-up. It's like, what, you got to open it more. But they don't open it. So you got to think about everybody. You want to make the movement as big as it can be, as soon as it can be. But that's my personal philosophy on things. You know, other paper engineers maybe feel differently about that, and that's totally cool. I love that. All right, let's put this on. This is our V that we're going to use for our Brachiosaur. I'm going to tape it down using, this is just artist tape. And the reason why I use this tape is it has fibers in it, so the more I move it, it won't break. Like if I use regular plastic tape, like with Scotch tape, which by the way is fantastic and I use all the time, it's a little easier to break. So this stuff, because it has fiber. So there is the basis of our Brachiosaur. He's still kind of sticking out. Now this one is smaller. This is gonna be a smaller model than what we did in the actual book, but it'll be just fine, trust me. All right, the next step is we wanna make that head that goes up, because that's gonna be probably the hardest part to assemble. So we wanna make a pivot. I think we're gonna make a pivot, like, let's see. If we wanna make a dinosaur head, and I'm just gonna make one right now, I'm gonna cut one out. You know what I'm gonna do too? I'm gonna double it up first so that neck piece is really strong. So I'm just doubling up this paper and then I'm gonna cut out my Brachiosaurus head. All right, so I doubled over the neck piece and I'm just gonna sort of cut the neck. But I'm not gonna put the head on because I might later on decide to, change the positioning of how the head is on the body. So I'm just gonna do the neck. That way, if I want to, I can pull out the neck even more if I want to. So far, this is where it's gonna kind of go on ours. And when it goes down, it should fit within there pretty good, I think. Let's hope. It doesn't want to shorten it. All right, so there we go. And there is where we're gonna make the hole right here. So hey, you know what? I made a little drawing of a hole. This is gonna be where the pivot is for the neck. So I'm just gonna cut it out real quick. All right, there we go. All right, now, what I wanna do is I'm gonna actually take up this side of the Vfold. I'm just gonna pull it up this side so that we can work with this and pretend that it's opening and closing without actually having to close our pop-up. I'm just gonna take this tape off. I'll reuse it later if you do it real carefully. All right, so we're going to test this. And what we need to do is we need to make a piece that's actually going to pivot. The neck piece will go on top of it as it rotates. We're going to make the actual rotating piece, and then we're going to make the pusher for it. This looks like a rectangle. These are never that easy to make, so you got to make them strong. So this is going to be the pivot piece, and it's going to need two parts. It's going to need one part this is going to be a slotted pivot that goes through that hole, and you're going to need to make sure that hole is that piece going to fit through there. And then I'm going to just round this up like this. So see what I did there? Sort of a mushroom tab, and this is going to fold and go through here. See, that's where the pivot's going to be. See how it folds and goes through. And now the piece that is going to, what the pusher is going to do in the back here is it's going to push it, and it's going to raise up. When I stick this on, it's going to raise up that dinosaur head like that. But we got to make this part first. So let's take this piece out. It needs to have one more on the other side because the pusher needs to attach through another hole on its own pivot. So there's two of them working at the same time. It's another mushroom tab. And if you want to make your tab a little smaller, you can. You know, it's tough getting the measurements right. So you have to feel them out sometimes. And there are often times when I'm working on this type of mechanism where I mess up a lot along the way. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. All right, so we have this piece, and it's going to be folded. These tabs are going to fold in on the mushroom tab here. Now what I want to do to just strengthen this, I'm going to put a piece of cardstock, just a strip that goes down, and it's going to, see this area right here? Sometimes that gets ripped or torn, and with it doubled over, or you could even triple over if you want to. In fact, ooh, I'm feeling that crazy. I'm gonna triple it over. Let's take a little strip. Just gonna make a long strip like this, and I'm going to lay it in here and glue it down. See how I'm laying it, going straight through there? So that'll really strengthen that piece. That's gonna be a lot stronger. Now let's put it aside and let's make the pusher piece. Okay, we're gonna make the pusher piece. Let's put this stuff aside. And the pusher piece is just gonna be a strip that attaches to the base page, and it's gonna have the same sized hole as the other one. And again, because we're making such strong movements for things, we're gonna just double it over onto itself so it's twice as strong. Use a little glue. Here. I'm gonna round the top because it's gonna, our movement's gonna need to happen over that, so it needs to be nice and easy to get through. And what basically this is gonna do is it's gonna move up and down like that. So I'm just looking at how that angle, how's that angle gonna work? Angle about like that. And we're just gonna test it right now and see where the movement goes. Okay, so we're taping it down to the base page, and you're gonna see that this is parallel to this line. And watch, see as it moves. See, it moves up and down. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Let's see. It's not bad. That's not bad. I might angle it a little bit further out. And you want to make sure also that this is taped down parallel to this. So let's tape it down to the base page. That looks pretty good. And what we want to do is we want to have a hole on this piece. Ooh, I'm not loving how long this is. Look at what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it. It's a little long. And I'm eyeing this stuff. Just like that. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark right here where I think I want my hole for that to attach. So I'm going to put a hole just like this. These should be about the same size. I'm going to mark this where it was. Seems to be a nice spot. And then I'm going to cut this hole. There we go. So there we go. And let's put this piece right here. are. And then, look, does that fit? That fits. For right now, we're just gonna test it. You know, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna put it in here. So I threaded it in. And then I'm gonna thread this side, this mushroom tab, through this hole. Now, this could be a bust, but this is gonna test and we're gonna see. So there it is. This is what it looks like when it's gonna be closed, and then when it opens, certain other things are gonna happen. So let's see how this moves. We got it all attached so far. Let's see if this works. Okay, that pushes up nicely. So it's actually pretty nice. All right, but we don't know how much it moves. So let's test it. Let's put the neck of our Brachiosaurus. Let's put the neck right there. And then put it right there so it would sort of hide. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, when it pulls up, oh my gosh. The first try, it works? Wow, that's pretty astounding. Look at that. Now, if you can see, the reason why I threaded it through this way, this pusher piece pushed down by this. If we did it another way, it might not work right. This keeps it kind of all pushed together. Let's test it this way. You all saw how that worked. Here's the issue. If you thread it this way, sometimes what happens is this piece will come out like this. See how it's pulling out? And this piece will just flop all over the place. Now we can remedy that by doing something like this. We could just put a little strap to hold this guy in place right here if we want to. But it's best, I think, to put this in another way. We're gonna still make this strap just to keep our pusher piece in place. So you can see what I did there. I just put some double stick on that edge and turned it over. And then I just wanted to give it enough space. And then also I'm gonna do this right here because I don't wanna see all that ugly tape. So let's see how that works. It keeps it on a certain plane. It doesn't let it push out. It also will make it move faster. I'm still gonna do what I did before where I'm just gonna pull this up. I'm just gonna carefully do it the other way. If we have it on top of our pusher piece, you know the other thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut that a little down, just a little down. And like I said, it keeps this piece kind of in place, and this will also help. So we got the strap and that. So then our neck is gonna come up, like, watch. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That turned out so nicely. Now, look at, we're opening it up. Look how tall that gets. Now we can add the top of the Brachiosaurus, and I'm just gonna put a big piece up there for now. It's not gonna be the final. Now I can find out, okay, how tall can I get this guy? So see how tall I can put it? And I'm gonna use some double stick right here, right about there. See what I did? Okay, so now look how tall our it's getting caught if we do that. So we gotta be careful about where the head goes. Let's see. So that didn't work. Maybe it needs a head that's a little bit more curved in. So that was too big. But let's see if we can get it down. I'm just gonna cut down something. Let's see, what about that? Is that too big? Will that get caught? I don't, a little. Let's see, maybe right there? Let's try that. That's getting better. Is that better? There we go. That's not getting caught. All right, so that's where we want our Brachiosaurus head. And I'm just gonna quickly, I think, well, with all the new types of sauropods that have been discovered that are way bigger, Brachiosaurus was my old school favorite as far as sauropods go because it was so huge. And I think also I used to love it because it looked so different than dinosaurs like Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, or however it's pronounced now. I always pronounced it that way. It's always been my favorite. Oopsie, there's a problem. We gotta glue that head down. Put some glue, get it just right, and our Brachiosaurus should be pretty good. All right, there we go. Now what's up next? We gotta make the tail, and we gotta make the arms, and we'll dress it up a little bit more. Okay, so let's get started on the tail next. Okay, so the tail is actually a layer that's built off of this fold. So it actually goes behind the body. And so what we need to do is we need to make, this is the center line, we need to have a parallel line here and here so that those two can connect. So right now, that is not parallel to there, but it's really easy. All we gotta do is take this tool, or you could eye it, or you could do this. We could add a piece. That's a smart idea. Let's add a piece. And then we'll make it like, so what we'll do is we'll just add a piece right here so that this edge is parallel to that one. Ooh, that's so easy. So we're gonna glue it onto the body here, just like that. All right, so here's that edge and here's that edge. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a layer that goes across and in the back here. So let's look in the back. Let's look in the back. So I'm gonna make a strap that kind of goes from there to there. And we're going to just make kind of a big rectangle. And I'm just gonna look. That's pretty good. That's a parallel. That's nice. All right. Put tape on this side. And I'm gonna make sure that this edge here, when I tape it down, is parallel to our center fold. You know, sometimes you gotta pull up your tape again to look at what's going on back there. There we go. And since it's hard to see that center fold, what I'll do, just to make it easier for you, because I wanna try to be a good teacher. There we go. Okay, so here's our strap. This is going to be a layer that goes across, and it's going to attach here, and I'm gonna fold this under. I'm gonna make sure this edge is parallel to our center V-fold. I'm gonna pull this up just a bit. I think that looks about right. Okay, and then I'm gonna tape it over here. And I'm gonna double, like, here's what I did. I'm putting tape down and I'm just folding it over like this to attach it right there. Okay, and before I tape all this down, what I think I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that this edge is cut off. All right, and then I'm going to tape this V-fold back down to the page. Now you're saying to me, Matthew, there's no fold here yet for the layer. Oh, there will be. It's gonna find the measurement. It's gonna find the fold, right? So watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close the pop-up. Oh, it's bowing. Let's push this up. Let's push that up so it gets out of the way. And watch, it's gonna find the right fold. So I'm just gonna mash it shut. And you're gonna watch that some cool, weird geometry math is gonna happen. Wow, look, there's our layer. It found the fold, right? So this distance from here to here is gonna automatically be the same as that distance from there to there. So we got our layer, and now let's see, does it open and close? That's where our tail is. Look at, that's gonna be the piece where our tail is built off of. And you'll notice that I chopped that off right there. There was a corner down there, and the reason why is if I kept it on, it would have smashed, see, it would have smashed the base page. So I got rid of it. Now we can put a tail on here, and if we're smart, which is I know we are, I'm gonna make sure that our tail goes up right there, and you know, that's gonna be our big brachiosaur tail. Might shorten it out a little bit. It's a little long. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what is the most, now, since Brachiosaurus is no longer the biggest, I'm gonna have to look up what the biggest sauropod is now. It's probably one of those giants that they found in Argentina. Man, I gotta go there. They have the best dinosaurs. That's where all the good dinosaurs are. Oh, look at that, it fit. So look at, there's our tail for our it's a little long though. It's almost like because Brachiosauruses don't have the hugest long tails, but they got pretty good ones. Okay, there we go. And it fits really nicely in there. You gotta be careful though that you don't make the tail curving kind of down this way, because it will catch on the edge of the page. Look what's happening. It's sort of catching there. So I'm just gonna make sure that the tail kind of curves upward instead. See now, look, doesn't at all. Okay, so there we go. So we've got the head and we've got the tail. All right, let's work on the legs next. All right, so let's get to making the legs. Now, on the one before that I had made, that we had done two different things. I made legs using layers, and then we're gonna have the front legs being very wide V-folds. So let's start with the back legs. And all I'm gonna do is just make, for right now, I'm just gonna make a rough layer. This is a rectangle, And I'm gonna fold it. I don't want the leg to stick out too much from the body. I just want a little bit of dimension. And so with a layer, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mark. So this is, I'm gonna mark from here to here. Okay, that should be about good. So that's gonna be the haunch, and then the leg's gonna be one of the legs. We're gonna see sort of the front of the body here, and then we're just gonna see the side of one of the legs, and the other leg, we'll just say it's on the opposite side. And you know what I'm gonna do to hide that tape? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna put the tape going this way, and this way. I think I could probably do dinosaur crafts all year long, to be honest. I could do, if there was a challenge to do dinosaur crafts all year, I would probably, I think I could find a way to do it. But there's other fun stuff, like we've got some really cool crafts coming. In fact, I'm gonna give you a sneak preview. We're gonna be making this later in the month. Watch this. Look at that. Look, is that the coolest thing you've ever seen? Anyways, we're gonna be working on that coming soon. There's all kinds of stuff that we've been thinking about, and I can't wait to do Halloween this year because we've got some fun surprises coming. So anyways, let's see here. Let's see, Mr. Dinosaur. There you go. There is the layer for the back legs. And now what we can do is I can just sort of sketch out, and we're just gonna see the back leg here a bit. And then I'll just use my X-Acto knife, and if I want to be careful not to cut the paper behind it, I'll put something heavy like this metal ruler square, and I will cut it out so that my paper behind it doesn't get hurt. Or you know what you could do? You could do that easier and just carefully take it off. Okay. All right, so now, there we go. There's our back leg for our Brachiosaur. And we're gonna do some cutting here, and we're gonna decorate this a little bit more to make it look like it isn't just a giant blob. All right, now let's work on the two front legs. They were really, really wide sort of V's. Okay, so now we're going to just fold this in half, cut a piece that's kind of like that. Okay, so it's a V-fold, but it doesn't go all the way down to the point. I'm not actually gonna put it right on the fold line. I'm gonna do something a little different. This is gonna be experiment time, okay? So I don't have it right on the fold, all right? So we're going to find the fold if we can with this piece. Let's give it a shot. Let's make the fold happen. So let's see. This is gonna come down, and then we're gonna, we're experimenting. We're experimenting right now. Okay, that is, see, okay, so here's where the folds landed. I actually really like these, so we might stick with it, but look where the fold is. The fold is here, here, and here. So that's where our folds are. And actually, if we really look at the math of this, here's where this fold is that we found. Here's where this fold is. Like we were finding the fold, and guess what? It automatically found some interesting math. Look at this. So this is the main V that we're working off of. And you'll notice that, look, these points all converge. So it's actually made what's called an asymmetrical V-fold. Automatically, it found its place. So I really like that, this V that we've made. So we're gonna use that as our guide. And what I'm gonna do is carefully take this off. There and there. And I'm gonna make a new piece. I'm gonna tear this off. I'm gonna make a new piece, and I'm just gonna mimic those, and I'm just gonna mark here. That's where that fold is. This fold is right here. Okay, I'm just gonna look at this other one and see how it lines up. And then I'm gonna lay it in place so I know where this one lines up. Okay, so it sort of lines up like that. Like that. Okay, that's not bad. All right, let's see how this guy folds. Let's see if he folds right. Ooh, that's really close. Look at that. It's nice. All right, let's do the other leg. All right, let's do another test piece. This is just gonna be a test, and then we're gonna take it off and build the right one. So I'm just looking at interesting places that I could put this. I'll do something like that. I'm gonna tape it down to the base page. And again, like I said, I don't know how this is gonna work. We're gonna find the folds and see if this works. So we're doing a little experiment here. All right, so we've got one close up, but now we know one thing for sure. We wanna make sure that these legs are kind of bowed a little. So I'm just gonna cut into that just a bit so that this doesn't run into there. We're checking up. There's a little bit of an issue. We'll fix it eventually. We'll get to fixing it, don't worry. Shut, and let's see what happens. It's not bad, but they're a little off. Like one side is definitely different than the other, so we got to rethink. What we could do is we could try to copy this piece exactly and stick it over here. Should we try that? Let's try that. I'm going to put this down just like that edge, because we know that's for sure. And I'm gonna trace it. Super easy. One leg. Oh, and I need to make sure this is where it folds. Right there. Okay. So we're gonna fold it right along that. Perfect. And then I need to make another mark here and here. And that is gonna be where the line, and what I'm gonna do, since it's gonna reverse, just make little nicks right there, and this is gonna need to be, so where are the nicks? Is that a nick? Yeah. All right, so that's the actual fold, and this is the part where it's actually supposed to go across the fold line. Okay, let's put these back up here. And I'm gonna do the same thing for this side, because I might move this other leg. Let's look at how this works. Now we'll take this side, and see the leg is supposed to be something like right there. And see it lines up along this line, and these legs should work together. Let's see how that works. Oh. They don't work well. I have an idea. Let's try it this way. I got a different idea. Maybe we have them go out this way instead for the legs. Hey, I like that. So let's try that. That's pretty nice. So let's do these. Let's do the same thing, but the legs are going to go outward so that they're just opposite ways. Now, I'm not going to keep the legs looking like this. We're going to change the way they look. But those angles, let's see. Let's test it. Ooh, that's nice. And that's what happened in the book. These angled outward. So I made a mistake, but look that looks really good. So what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna change the shape of these, but we're gonna use the exact same V's. And let's trace them and remake these and put new ones on here. Okay, I remade these pieces, and they're essentially the same. It's the same V-fold, the outer shape is different. So let's do this. We're gonna glue one. And this is the line that we use to line it up to our center line. It's not where the fold is though. Let's see if that looks good. That already is looking good. Let's see if it's, look at that. Ooh, it almost looks like the Brachiosaurus is like pushing itself up off the ground. That's really great. It doesn't always line up like we usually think. Let's see. Ooh, it folds nicely. Ooh, is it gonna fit inside? It does. Look at how we did it. Oh my gosh, we did it. Now, it's not decorated, so I'll decorate it very quickly. That is it. That is the mechanism right there. So let me just quickly do a little zhuzh magical work. All right, let's check this out. Whoa, look at that. Look at our Brachiosaurus. Okay, now I'll admit it. The neck should be bigger compared to these giant legs. The legs are enormous, and maybe some of the proportion may be slightly off, but this is the basic mechanism to get you started with your very own version of this Brachiosaurus. Look at that. So there is all of our mechanism. Ooh, let's pull back because these guys are big. They're big. There's the original. It's got the perspective a little bit better, but you know, we're just throwing something together. And then here's the new one that we just did. So it's basically the same. We got the two big, wide asymmetrical V-folds happening here. We got a layer for these legs. We have another layer built off of the back of this V-fold, this main power Vfold that's powering everything. And then we got our pivot and this joint, and with our little pusher back here that extends the neck upward. So even though some of the proportions are off from our original, this is the base engineering for this pop. So look at that. Oh, we learned something new. Hey, pop-up master classing, baby. So there it is. All right, there is the one we made today. And there's the original from Encyclopedia Prehistorica, Dinosaurs, which you can find a link down below if you're interested. This is a pop-up masterclass. I'm Professor Matthew Reinhardt for the pop-up masterclass. Woo, you've been good students today. Woo. I know it's a summer session, everyone, but you did a great job. I hope you've enjoyed. Listen, on your way out, could you do me a favor and please hit the like and subscribe button down below. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and it gets our videos, out there in the internet. Ooh. Hey, feel free to comment below. Let me know there's other things you want to see for pop-up masterclasses. There are some that people have requested and I'm just waiting for next month once Dinosaur Month is over. So let me know if you have ideas about future projects and future crafts because I really listen down below. I really love your comments. They feed me. Anyways, everything I do here on YouTube is thanks to you. So thank you. I love you very much. This is Matthew Reinhardt saying, be kind to a stranger. Think creatively. Think creatively. And keep it poppin'. Bye-bye. Woo!